हाँ सर, हाँ। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपीकान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। सभी को धन्यवाद, सभी को प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
मैं इधर शेयर करता हूँ, इधर से बात नहीं कर पाऊंगा, शेयर कर पाऊंगा एक बार।
हाँ,
आवाज नहीं आई?
मैं पढ़ूं क्या अभी?
हाँ मतलब पढ़िए आप।
कौन भी ज्वाइन नहीं हो गए। श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्। Shreyan, better, Swadharmaha, one's own occupation, Vigunaha, imperfectly performed, Paradharmat, another's occupation, Swanushtitahatat, perfectly done, Swabhava Niyatam, prescribed duties according to one's nature, Karma work, Kurvan performing, na never, Apnoti achieve, Kilbisham sinful reactions. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it imperfectly. Prescribed duties, according to one's nature, are never affected by sinful reactions. Purport. One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra are prescribed according to the particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim himself to be a Brahmana, although he may be born into a Brahmana family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable. Abominable if performed in the service of Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of the Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of Brahmanas. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and diplomacy accompany political affairs, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmana. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party, but if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit, the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. Whether one is a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra doesn't matter. If he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no a sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yajna or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. धन्यवाद सर.
आज तो मूवी को है ही नहीं है,
हाँ
कोई जो नहीं किसी
हाँ,
मूवी का
देखिए
गया है
ऐसा
वो
इन्फॉर्म तो करना ना, प्रभु जी हमारे लिए सुबह सुबह आते हैं इतना.
हाँ
वो बहुत, मुझे तो बहुत ये लगता है यार, गिल्टी लगता है ऐसा हो गया तो.
बाहर तो भी मैंने किसी तो कुछ भी के लिए शेयर भी किया
हाँ,
बट
आप भी देखिए, आप भी हमारे लिए
प्रभु जी
सब इतना सुबह वही करते
नहीं
हैं
नहीं
सब.
प्रभु जी अरे तुम्हारा ड्यूटी है, मैंने उनको बोला हाँ तो हाँ ना, जब मैंने जबान दिया है तो
हाँ.
ठीक है चलो सबके अपनी
हरे कृष्णा
हरे
प्रभु जी.
कृष्णा आवाज पढ़ लिया श्लोक बताइए.
हाँ प्रभु जी,
एक बार फिर से पढ़ लीजिए पूरा श्लोक ट्रांसलेशन.
श्लोक पूरा पढ़
श्लोक
लो
ना
प्रभु
प्रभु
जी.
जी
हाँ पढ़ लीजिए.
ओके ओके. श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परमास्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. It is it is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Purport. One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita as already discussed in previous verses. The duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra are prescribed according to the particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim himself to be a Brahmana, although he may be born into a Brahmana family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahmana. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and diplomacy according to political affairs. But a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmana. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field, also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit, the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in such in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. Whether one is a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra does not matter. If he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yajna or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. धन्यवाद.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्णा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. So today we are going to read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The Lord have already described about the various qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya and Shudra. And in this shloka, Lord is stating, or Lord is declaring, or Lord is trying to tell us that all of us have to do the activities in whatever guna and karma we are. So whatever we have to perform the prescribed duties of whatever varna we are. So say for example, if somebody is a Kshatriya, so he should try to perform the activities of a Kshatriya, whether if it have some flaw also, then also you have to do. If somebody is a Brahmana, he should be a Brahmana only. If somebody is a Vaishya, he should perform the prescribed duty of a Vaishya. And if somebody is Shudra, he should perform the prescribed duty of Shudra. So we should not artificially try to perform duty of others, even though we can perform the duty of others perfectly also, because it will create a havoc. So, so we have to understand that based on the guna and karma, the four varnas are divided by the Lord Himself. And in the previous few shlokas, we discussed about the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So it's very practical that you know uh, whatever, yeah, because guna and karma doesn't change; it will always remain intact. So if we artificially try to imitate others, it will create a problem only. We will take an example that a fox and a camel. A fox cannot do a job of camel, and a camel cannot do a job of fox, because both have a different set of qualities and activities, and both have different kind of nature. Oh, okay, I will give an example. So once there was one farmer, okay, and this farmer, not farmer, there was a washerman. Okay, so once there was a washerman, and he have a donkey and a dog at his home. So he used to use the donkey for carrying clothes from bank of the rivers back and forth, and the dog used to stay at home performing, protecting the house, because act as a security personnel. So so in the evening, whenever the washerman used to come, immediately when the washerman used to come, the dog used to bark, and the dog used to go and lick the washerman, and then the washerman used to caress him, and uh, the washerman used to take care of the dog nicely and all. So this donkey, which was also in the same premises, he thought maybe because this dog, whenever the master comes, he starts to bark, and then he will start to lick. That's why the master is liking him, and he doesn't beats him, or he doesn't mistreat the dog. But he, because I don't do all these things, that's why I will get a stick. So he thought, let me try to imitate the dog, and if I do it, maybe my master will become happy, and I will also get the same treatment as the dog. So one day, what happened by mistake? Uh, the dog was not tied, so it was open. And immediately, when the master came, the donkey started to create sound. I mean, just like the dog starts to bark, started to create sound, hechu hechu, whatever sound it creates, and it started howling. And then the washerman got suspicious. What happened to my donkey? And then immediately when he came inside, what he did, just like the dog, he will take his front two legs and he will try to do a handshake with the master. This donkey also tried to do the same with of front two legs. He tried to do a handshake with the master, and because of that, what happened? Because of the heaviness of the donkey, the master fell on ground, and then and when the friend fell on ground, he started to violently lick him. This washerman got very much angry, took a stick and bit this donkey black and blue. So we have to understand that both of this donkey and the dog, they were doing the same activities, and but the result was different. The dog was getting harassed, being taken care, and the donkey was beaten black and blue. So we have to understand. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that even though donkey was able to do what dog was able to do, but the result is totally different, because the nature of the donkey and the dog are totally different, and the work they are meant to do are totally different as well. You are all getting or not?
Ha, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Got it, sir. Got it, Prabhuji.
Okay. So similarly, Brahmana have a certain kind of task to be done. Kshatriya have certain kind of work to be done, and everybody have different qualities and guna and dharma as well. So Kshatriya's guna and dharma, and Brahmana's guna and dharma, and Vaishya's guna and dharma, and Shudra's guna and dharma are totally different. And that's what Prabhupada is also stating in the purport as well. Prabhupada is saying that regardless regardless whether we have certain flaws in our prescribed duties, we should continue to do it rather than imitating the work of others. So as we all know that the work of Kshatriya is to give protection. Kshatriya is the ruler. And when you rule the country, when you rule the state, whatever, if you're ruling, you have to do diplomacy. You have to do politics. You have to, and sometimes you have to do violence as well. You have to kill people also because you have to protect your nation. Actually, Kshatriya means Shatraititi Kshatriya. Kshatriya is the one who will give protection. And for giving protection, once you have taken the duty of protection, you have to be fearless. You cannot be fearful and give protection. You have to put your life on wire for protecting others because that is your job. You cannot say, I will not fight. I will not fight. I will not do violence because if I do violence, I have to kill and I will incur sin. No, you cannot do that. Since you have the quality of since you are a Kshatriya, this is your duty. You cannot run away from your duty. Bhagavad Gita, what is Bhagavad Gita all about? Bhagavad Gita start with a prelude that a Kshatriya called Arjuna, who is on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, doesn't want to fight. He wants to run away from his duties, and that's where this all these things are happening. That's where the problem is. That's where the Bhagavad Gita comes into picture. So being a Kshatriya, you have to incur sin. You cannot say you have to do diplomacy. You have to tell lies because in politics you have to use hook and crook to remain in power. You have to perform abominable action for protection of your motherland. So that you have to do. So Prabhupada is saying, being a Kshatriya, if you have to do it, don't run away. I mean, Lord is stating, not Prabhupada. Lord is stating that if you have a Kshatriya quality and if it's your prescribed duty, you have to perform it. Because whatever you do, there are certain problems associated with it. No matter what, in this world, whatever you do, there will be some problem or the other. You cannot say, because of this problem, I will not perform the prescribed duties. You have to do it. So, rather than what Arjuna was telling, Arjuna was also telling the same, that I will give up my Kshatriya work and I will go to the forest. I will become a mendicant. I will start begging. Then what Lord told him? He told that you cannot be a mendicant also, because that is not your guna and dharma. You cannot artificially become a mendicant. You cannot become a brahmana artificially, because that is not. Because right now your renouncement is circumstantial. You're feeling renounced because of a circumstance, and then once you become a mendicant, because of your guna, being a kshatriya, you cannot face humiliation. You will become angry, and somehow you're not fighting here. You'll fight somewhere else, because that is your quality, and that is very practical also. Because if you are in certain guna, if you are in certain qualities, if you are a kshatriya, okay, for some time you might get you know pronouncement. No, I will not fight. I will go here and there. But once you become mendicant, or once you go there, the qualities will immediately prop up. You can't hide it. It's a bit natural. A dog and a fox and a camel went to a sugarcane and then sugarcane field. Both of them chewed sugarcane, and then after each chewing the sugarcane, the fox started to howl, oh, wah, wah. Then this camel told, "No, do this, don't do this." Why? Because if you do this, then the farmer will come to know that we are here, and he will come and beat us black and blue. Then the fox told, "But I cannot do anything. I cannot help myself, because that is my guna. Even if I try, I will not be able to resist myself. I have to do it anyhow." And then the fox started to howl, and then the the farmer came and he beat the camel black and blue. The fox was small and it ran away. So it was not a fault of a fox. It was fault of his guna and dharma. It was fault of his qualities. You cannot hide your qualities. So Lord says you have to do a job of a kshatriya, and you continue to do it. See, even after reading Bhagavad Gita, what what Arjuna did? Arjuna did not become a brahmana. He did not pick up the kamandalu and stick and told, okay, I will go in the forest. He fought. He fought for his nation. He fought for his territory. Similarly, being a brahmana also have the job of a brahmana, the prescribed duty of a brahmana also have certain kind of flaws. So there are times when the host or the yajman wants to perform some sacrifices. The brahmana knows that this sacrificing animal or a animal is flawed, is full of sinful. It's a sinful activities. But regardless whether he knows it's sinful or not, he has to do it, because the host wants him to do it. So for killing an animal, you have to encourage him. And there are times, there are times when people they do all kind of sankalpa, uh, they perform so many yajna and all that with ill motives. So the priest is there. What is the work of a priest? The work of a priest is to perform, to lead the rituals, despite knowing the fact that his yajman, he wants to he wants to do it for he have some ill motive. So if you are helping someone in the ill motive, you're also criminal. But the brahmana have to take that papam. He have to incur that sin, because that is part of his job. If he denies, I will not get involved in this, I will not get involved in the sacrifice, then how his family will run? So despite not wanting to perform sinful activities, he have to still perform it, because that is what the prescribed duties are. He have a duties, he have an obligation. So see, scientists, the researchers are to do and innovation and research in the field of in the field in such a way that whatever research and innovation they are doing, it will be helpful for the mankind. But governments are promoting governments are promoting research and innovation which will create havoc on the mankind. You see, all these weapons of mass destruction which so many countries are having. So what are they? They are sponsored by the government. People often claim, politicians often claim that these weapons of mass destruction is for peace. But I don't understand how the weapons of mass destruction are for peace. Because so many countries nowadays in this time and age of technology, everything is open with innovation of artificial intelligence, chat GPT, AI, and all the information is on your fingertip. And there is nothing to hide. And so much information is floating. So nobody can hide any information. So people are using this technology for what? People are using this technology for creating problems. Often you will come across news that people used technology to create problem for others. People are using technology for killing others. So what does this mean? It means we should cut off the technology altogether. No, there will always be misuse of it, but there is also benefits of it. Similarly, Brahmanical job have certain flaws, but Brahmanas cannot deny it. You have to continue to do it. Vaishya means businessman. So if you're a businessman and truthful cannot go hand in hand. Nobody can say he's a businessman, he's truthful, because business means speaking lies. If you don't speak lie, you will not be profit. You will not be able to run your system. Anytime you go to a shop to purchase something, some commodity, and you start to bargain, and we will start to bargain, the businessman will tell, "Oh, you're my dear friend. I'm giving you this. I'm not getting any profit. I'm not getting any profit. I'm giving this in your loss. I'm giving you all this thing in a loss since you're my dear friend." So, do you think that the statement is true that the businessman is giving shop owner is giving us things in loss? No, he cannot do that. If he will start giving us everything in loss, what his family will do? So he will tell lies. So you cannot say I have to tell so many lies. Sometimes they will take oath of their children also. They will take
But
oath of their family also.
he will not lie like this, now, Prabhuji. He can tell that I am giving in minimum profit, or I cannot sell without profit. He can tell. Why he should lie, Prabhuji, like this?
Yeah, that is the ideal case. But even if I have seen cases when a person is genuine, he will tell, I'm selling it with a profit of 20 rupees. Then the other person will say, why don't you take only 10 rupees profit? So
Correct,
there are
Prabhuji.
cases.
But one who is very much ethical and all,
No,
he
no,
can.
so that is being ethical is job of a Brahmana. Vaishya, by default, he is interested in profit only. He cannot be ethical. Business can be ethical, but rarely people will do ethical job. Okay. If they follow the ethics, they will run for a longer term. I mean, just we see Tata and all, Tata and Birla, they are ethical and that's why they are surviving. So it's not that the businessman cannot be ethical. Ethics and business can go hand in hand. So nobody is denying if he can tell, okay, I will take only 10 rupees profit. That is okay. But as you say, but nobody believes that is a problem. Making sense or not? You are understanding?
But it becomes cheating only, no, Prabhuji, if there it is
Yeah,
done
it's a
like
cheating. Yeah, it's a cheating only. But what can be done? So that's why people with a Brahmanical
that.
quality, they will not go in business, because they know that they have to tell lies and all, and that cannot be done. Okay.
Uh,
So the point is that so all these things, all these activities have certain flaws in it, have certain kind of restrictions in it. And being a Shudra also. So for Shudra, I mean, all the workers, I mean, most of us who had been working for others is a Shudra, a kind of Shudra only. And the Shudras, despite working so much hard, if you say in the current corporate scenario, despite giving your sweat and blood, the manager will always be unhappy only. Whatever he achieved is not 100%. You have to do it better. What you are doing is not satisfactory. So, despite giving all the effort, the manager, if the boss is not satisfied, you cannot leave your job. You cannot put resignation. You have to continue your job, because if you resign, if you give up your job, where else you will get new job? So there are times, despite giving you 100%, despite giving your sweat and blood, the boss is not happy. There are times when the house helps, they will do such a fabulous job, but the owner of the house will always be not unhappy only. You have done all these things wrong, but here there is a flaw. Here there is a flaw. So what is the choice? You have to you leave the job? No, you cannot get a new job now. Nowadays in IT sector and all, if people give up their job, it's very hard to find a new job. So what happens? People just try to tolerate. They will keep on tolerating because they have so much thing on the stake. They have their house on EMI, they have their school fees to pay, they have so many things which is relying on that job only. So they will keep on tolerating it. Just because the manager is not favorable, or just because the manager is uh, criticizing, one doesn't leave the job. This is what is a Shudra. When being a Shudra, this is what happens. But what else? What else these people who have already done a job they can do? They cannot do anything. If a house help who have done a house help work for 20 years, and you tell him you do go and do another thing, he cannot do anything. So he'll continue to do whatever he's doing, despite the owner not being happy. So the Lord is stating that we have to continue to do the thing based on guna and karma. And if we continue to do despite being flawed, then we can achieve the perfection also. So if a Brahmana remains a proper Brahmanical qualities, and he perform Brahmanical duties nicely, that's all right. Even if it have some flaws, God will take care of. If he's a Kshatriya, and he's having Kshatriya's qualities and perform the Kshatriya duty nicely, that is absolutely all right. So the point is, we have to identify our guna and dharma, and then accordingly we have to work. Shastras are very practical. Shastras are very clear, and in Shastra it said that regardless whether we are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all of us are part and parcel of Lord, and we should we should be we should perform devotional service for pleasure of Krishna. So regardless of whether whatever financial, political, or uh, economical condition we come from, all of us are basically part and parcel of Krishna. We are all servant of Krishna, and all of us should perform bhakti uh, with a one-pointed attention for seeking love of Godhead, love of Krishna. So that can be done only when we start chanting the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. Just by simply chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can achieve what is unachievable. We can achieve love of Godhead, and also we will achieve our eternal abode from where we don't have to come again. So, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely summarizes the situation where he says that he is neither a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, or neither a Grahastha, Vanprastha, Sannyasi, or a Brahmachari. So, what is his identification? He says, my identification is Gopir Bhaktar Pad Kabalur Das Dasanudas, that he is servant of the servant of Krishna. So, all of us, we should aspire to become servant of the servant of Krishna, and that is perfection of your form of life. Hare Krishna. So, anybody have any question you can ask? If not, we can do japa.
Jai Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, 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 Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare सभी का सभी को प्रणाम सभी का दिन शुभ हो। धन्यवाद सभी को।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna सभी का धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम 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 राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम 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 राम हरे कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम राम Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare सभी को नमन सभी को प्रणाम सभी का दिन शुभ हो धन्यवाद जी
प्रभु जी कंक्लूड करेंगे क्या प्रभु जी? भगवद गीता यथारूप की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय। ओम तत्सत। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। सभी को धन्यवाद, सभी को प्रणाम।